Hi, I'm Mike Gillibardo with Total Intelligence Group. And today I'm going to talk about a data to intelligence, the intelligence-led policing model. It's a model that's starting to pick up some traction. It really, at the end of the day, it helps you take your data, bring it to intelligence, so then you can allocate resources towards your policing efforts. It's a way to try to anticipate and reduce the crime rate and really keep your community safe. A little bit about us. We're an intelligence company, so we help with analytical solutions as well as provide. We're IBM Analyst Notebook partners, cloud services. We work with Azure and AWS. We do social media analysis, data integrations. So we bring all data repositories to one place, which we'll talk about a little bit. Unstructured data resolution. So you probably have Intel reporting or BOLOs or anything like that that are unstructured data. How do you search it? How do you get what you want out of it? And we have platforms that allow you to take that unstructured data, resolute it, and bring it to life. Request for information. This is about the process. This is the initiation of the process for your decision making. So request information all the way through to dissemination. So the process of the intelligence cycle. Training, we do analyst notebook training, investigation tradecraft, analysis tradecraft, cyber. So we do those different things, and we do a number of different trainings that help an investigator or an analyst with their skills. So it's a little bit about us. So we're going to go right into it. So the power of analysis. So you're probably familiar with all of these. So think of all of these as separate data repositories or data sources that you have at your organization. You have probably a folder of intelligence reporting. You have media and video. You have a BOLO list. You have geospatial information, right? Your investigators always probably pull from open source. We got Google. We got different platforms like the dark web, and that's open source data that you can pull from. Security reports, cell phone dumps, financial records, social media, any type of informant intelligence that you're getting. All of that data coming in, and they're all in different disparate data sources and not always able to query off of one another. And it's very important to be able to that querying off of one another or validating it, right? The validation process is important, and you can use that by cross-referencing all your data. So we walked into an agency and they told us they had almost 200 different separate programs that they use, or that they have. They said probably half of them they don't use. And we were just shocked, right? They have tons of data. They have tons of information. Some of it's duplicate. They have programs with the same data in it, almost structured the same way, but they just don't know how to handle all these things. They keep buying new softwares and new solutions, and that's not necessary. In many cases, you can reduce the amount, create the efficiency, and really make your analyst or your investigators happy, because now you have less data systems to log into, and you have the ability to bring all your data to one place and cross-reference it. So the era of mass data. So just to kind of go back a little bit about that last slide, is data is worth more than oil. Have you ever seen the movie The Great Hack on Netflix? I really recommend that you do. And the one thing that you can take away from it is that the amount of data points that every single person has via social media, your cell phone, everything, there's data points everywhere that can always predict what you're going to do. We always say, oh, why do we have, why am I getting kayak, ads all the time? Well, maybe I just Googled kayak and I have a Google account that's synced to it. And now that's creating a data point, right? You're able to anticipate, oh, this person likes kayaks, or they're looking for a home, or whatever. So these are all data points, and we have them at our agencies. So we use open web, jail records, intelligence reporting. I mean, even if you look at jail records, you can look at emails from prisoners prisoners from home, right? Background check softwares, LexisNexis, Tracers, Hooster, traffic records, financial records, social media, cell phone dumps, emails. You have all of this data, right? So how do you take that data, kind of funnel it in, and cross-reference it from one another, which will help you with that intelligence. Use that information to allocate your resources towards your policing efforts, right? To go after those prolific offenders, to get them off the street. So intelligence warehousing, we get this question all the time. What is better, cloud or on-prem? We're scared of cloud. Right now, CGIS has been approved. I'll tell you right now, Department of Justice, the Bureau, they use cloud. DoD agencies use cloud. So it's secure, right? You look at a network engineer at AWS or Microsoft, they have a lot of resources. And they do a really good job at securing your systems. That and it's passing some of the liability onto them. They have all the resources and all the things. If it's CGIS compliant, then they've had to allocate a certain amount of effort and resources to that cloud service. So just note that, right? But we always tell every agency, both, right? What I mean both, we like both, and the reason we like both is because there are some programs such as iBase. iBase stores schemas, or it stores data for Analyst Notebook or charts, right? So it does better on-prem. That's my opinion. It does better on the prem. There's more bandwidth. The ability. It's not based on a connectivity all the time. So it does better on-prem. There's some things that do better on premises, and there's some things that do better in cloud. I like the hybrid model. We have a cloud. Most of our solutions are cloud-based, to be honest with you. So we use Microsoft Azure. We have our Azure CGIS compliant RFI system. So we work with that too. So it just depends. You could store records. You could. The cost of cloud is cheaper. And if you need more storage, you just press a button, right? Versus having to go and I got to go and pull out a schema and configure it, or I got to pull out a server, configure it, do all that stuff. So records management, being able to search, cloud is easier, and intelligence reporting, right? You can dump a lot of intelligence reporting in the cloud, and then use some of the tools to just make it queryable and search and. So I believe in kind of a hybrid hybrid model of that. So, but don't be afraid of cloud, please. It's there. It's been approved, and it works. So processing of intelligence, the intelligence cycle. So collection, planning and direction, collection. There's always collection. So you collect, you plan and direct, you collect again. Processing and exploitation, analysis and production, dissemination, evaluation, and feedback, right? So through this process, collection, you're always collecting data constantly. Every day your deputies or your agents or whoever, they're out on the streets and they're collecting data. Social media, anytime anybody puts something in social media, right? It's collecting data. There's always collection happening. So that's a continuous thing. And when an investigator or an agent requests information from maybe a fusion center, they say, oh, I want to get a workup on John Smith, right? So, but my requirement is I need his financial statements. So now that analyst can go in the system and look up at all the data that's collected, and then produce them their report or their product with the intelligence summary of. Here's his bank accounts. This is the and this through that whole process is processing and exploitation. So that analyst or investigator is processing all that information, exploiting it from the different systems, doing the analysis and production of it. So that's where they're giving their feedback, and then they disseminate it. Now, evaluation and feedback is constantly happening at every stage. So once the analysis and production is made, they disseminate it back to the requester. That requester can then say, oh, wow, I didn't realize this. I have a new requirement. I have a new request. And my new request, based on the summary you gave me, the intelligence summary, is X. So, and making things consistent. This process is really a decision-making process. It's the ability to take data, turn it into intelligence, make a decision on it, so then you can action it and have the output that you want, the outcome that you want. So the RFI, request for information, this helps you with that. Building requirements. So I get agencies sometimes ask me what are requirements. It's just what you want to know, right? It's the specifics of what you want to know, not the broad. I want to work up on John Smith. Well, you're going to get 150 pages. So if you're saying, I want a workup on John Smith, however, my requirement is financial data, right? I need to know all the banks that he owns. That's a specific requirement that the analyst can go after and see and get that information for you. That helps that creates efficiency, right? That helps that investigator say, oh wow, I got right on page 1 the information that I really want. Everything else is in the 100 pages below that is just the workup on them. But page 1 is really what I really want if I want to dig further than I can. The intelligence processing using your data repositories or data sources, dissemination, uninformed reporting with intelligence summary outcomes. So uniform reporting, So uniform reporting. So what that means is like an intel report. Like if the Bureau and some of the Department of Justice, they use the IIR, so Information Intelligence Report. So the IIR is a uniformed report that they all know where everything is at. And it tells you who it came from, who it was disseminated to. It's a tracking report. So you can track where that information went and who got it. And so it's a uniformed report that is used. It's something that you can create as your own agency. We've helped agencies create them based on how they want it structured. But it's super simple, and it makes sure that no matter who gets it within your organizations, it is 100% uniformed. Let's see here. And then, all right, dissemination in action. So after you build your requirements and you get all that, and you get your requirements answered, now you can you disseminate it, right? You disseminate those requirements. So sometimes the dissemination comes from the analyst or comes from the intel cell, right? They get this certain information, and they're like, well, wait a minute, we need to fill in this intelligence gap. So we're going to push out to the deputies a requirement. Hey, license plate number this. This is the prolific offender. We need to know if you see him in your jurisdiction or if in your district, right? So now that's a requirement that everybody has out, because that's somebody that's a target, or that's a requirement they need to know to fill in a gap. Maybe the gap is his pattern of life. You got to figure out where he's been, where he's going, and what areas he kind of operating in. So, and then that goes into the targeting the prolific offenders. So if you target the prolific offenders, so say you have a gentleman, John Smith, he robs cars in a neighborhood, once a week. He continues to rob. Nobody can seem to catch him, right? But then you automatically see him walking out of a 7-Eleven, right? And if you are intelligence-led policing, then your deputies can concentrate on this John Smith. They see John Smith walking out of a 7-Eleven with an open, and he pops a beer. You pick him up for that. Now you've pulled him off the street. That minimized his ability to maybe the next night or that night to go and rob those cars. So now you're reducing your crime rate and you're helping your citizens stay safe. So targeting those prolific offenders will really do that. And in that intelligence and that information, that intelligence-led policing model, the data that you produce the intelligence with is key in this process and in this method. So the intelligence processing using data sources, dissemination again, uniform reporting with the intelligence outcome, and efficiency and accuracy. So this is, at the end of the day, this will make your organization become more efficient and more accurate, right? Efficiency, it's all about making sure that you're maximizing your ability to be accurate and to be able to forecast any criminal activity, or for an agency to be able to anticipate crime and becoming efficient. So making sure that we reduce an hour of each analyst or each investigator on doing an investigation, right? Can you imagine over the course of a period where they're able to do another do another case, or do another case, or do another case. So now that efficiency is important, because now as they're doing more cases, they're able to help reduce the crime rate and really go after a lot of those offenders. And then accuracy. Accuracy is very important. I'll tell you a quick little story. I served in Iraq, and when I was overseas, validation is extremely important. And in order to really go after a target, especially towards the end of the end of the war, so back in the late 2009-10 era, you had to really validate that information for us to go in and roll somebody up or go after somebody. So you had to have multiple points of validation. And so that's where your data comes in, your different disparate data sources, your human and your other geoint and other intelligence disciplines, right? They come together and to validate that information, which increases its accuracy. So having multiple of those data points touch each other, now you can improve your accuracy, and now you can validate, or now you can you justify why you're going after that offender. So in summary, we believe that the intelligence-led policing model is the way to go, right? It's going to help with allocating resources. It's going to help you create efficiency. It's going to help you go after all of those prolific offenders and really get you ahead of the digital era and maximize the data points that you have, the data that you have within your organization. Helps you with anticipating crime, being able to get in front of it instead of always constantly in a reactive mode. Targeting those prolific offenders equals the reduction of crime rate. It reduces crime rates. Getting the ones that are off the street, not the one guy who had a bad day, never committed a crime before. He walks out of the 7-Eleven, opens a beer because he just had a really bad day, and then arresting him. Right? It's about getting the ones that are constantly going to jail, constantly in trouble, and constantly causing problems in your community, and maximizing your resources. We are very resource. We have so much going on, and we have minimal amount of resources. Or we have so many resources actually, and not a lot of time, not a lot of money, right? So this is going to maximize your resources by being able to allocate them into specific areas, maybe specific jurisdictions or prolific offenders or districts, however you guys are set up. So I hope that you enjoyed this. At the end of the day, it's about keeping the community safe. You guys do a great job. I want to thank you so much for all you do for our community. We really believe in this model. If you have any more questions, I would love to talk to you more, maybe about how we can bring this data together, how you can do it. We can get on the phone and just chat about it, and I can give you some ideas. Love to help out. Let us know if you do have anything, and stay safe out there. If you have it, please contact me, Mike at totalintelligencegroup.com. We'd love to help you. Thank you.